1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Indrani Senanayaka. The headlines. The Department of Irrigation issues a minor flood warning for some of the low-lying areas of the Deduro Valley. The government will take measures to amend the electoral system in a neutral manner. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya says that all views presented by the public regarding the upcoming budget will be fully considered. 2 officers interdicted as 700,000 kilograms of paddy go missing from government stores. Turkish Airlines today commenced direct flights between Sri Lanka and Istanbul after 10 years. News from overseas. Gaza doctors say hospital evacuation is impossible after Israeli warning. And in sports news, cricket. Sri Lanka's crucial match against Afghanistan will be played in Pune today. The Department of Irrigation has issued an amber-level minor flood warning for some of the low-lying areas of the Deduro Valley. The flood warning message, valid until 9 a.m. tomorrow, states that a considerable rainfall has occurred in some of the upstream, middle reach and downstream catchment areas of the Deduro Basin as of 6 a.m. today. In addition to that, the Deduro Reservoir, which is maintained by the Irrigation Department, is spilling over with a discharge rate of 14,000 cubic feet per second currently. The department says there is a possibility of the spill level increasing in the reservoir. There is a possibility of a minor flood situation occurring in low-lying areas of the Deduro Valley. Therefore, the residents in these low-lying areas in Wariapola, Anamadua and the surrounding areas are requested to pay high attention in this regard. The Disaster Management Authorities also requested motorists travelling through these areas to take adequate precautions. Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that the government will take measures to amend the electoral system in a neutral manner. It will consider the views of all political parties in this connection. However, the Cabinet has already taken a policy decision to amend the electoral system in the near future. Participating in the Subharati program of the SLBC this morning, he said there are several unsuitable provisions in the existing electoral system which were introduced in 1977. He stressed, therefore, that the system needs an immediate change. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya says that all views presented by the public regarding the upcoming budget will be thoroughly considered. Addressing the media in the Dehiovita area yesterday, he said all important proposals will be included in the budget to develop the country and to grant relief to the general public. The State Minister pointed out that attention should be focused to strengthen the economy by reducing unnecessary state expenses. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya stressed that the government is committed to overcome any challenge in the strengthening of the economy. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amarweera says that many proposals have been added to the budget proposals for the well-being of the farmers. Participating in a program at Rajanganaya area, the minister said welfare measures for estate workers should also be included in the next budget. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and we continue with local news. The chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board says that around 700,000 kilograms of paddy stocks worth around 65 to 70 million rupees are missing from 5 government-owned paddy stores in Kurunegala. Accordingly, 2 officers have been interdicted in connection with the incident. Last week, Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amarweera, had called for an immediate report pertaining to the alleged incident of paddy stocks going missing. The minister had directed the board to furnish the relevant report within 3 days, following multiple complaints made by the employees of the Paddy Marketing Board in this regard. However, they had reportedly informed the minister that officials from the head office of the PMB, as well as some officials of the regional offices, were involved in the disappearance of the relevant paddy stocks. The Sri Lanka Navy has apprehended 2 suspects along with a stock of smuggled insecticides during a search operation conducted in the area of Karithivu and Paliyavatta in Kalpitiya last night. During an operation conducted in the Karithivu Sea area by the SLNS Vijaya, The naval personnel intercepted a suspicious dinghy in the sea area and found 15 sacks of smuggled insecticides within the dinghy and apprehended 2 suspects on board. In a subsequent search operation carried out in the Paliyavatta Sea area, an additional 7 bags of smuggled insecticides, which had been left behind by the racketeers, were discovered. It is suspected that the smugglers may have forsaken them in response to the ongoing and persistent naval operations, the Navy said. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Weda Mahatmaya.
A look at the main news story. Airport and Aviation Services Private Limited said Turkish Airlines today commenced direct flights between Sri Lanka and Istanbul after 10 years. Accordingly, 4 weekly flights will operate between the two countries. The inaugural direct flight landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport at 5:41 a.m. with 261 passengers. To celebrate this special occasion, the first direct flight was welcomed with a water salute. On arrival, the passengers were treated to Sri Lanka Tea Board-sponsored Ceylon tea gift packs, synonymous with the world's finest tea.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Weda Mahatmaya.
Now take a look at Watchlight. The number of dengue cases in several areas of the Western Province and in the Kandy district of the Central Province has increased. The National Dengue Control Unit says most of the breeding grounds for mosquitoes have been identified around schools and religious places in many areas. Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Nalin Aryaratna, said 66,652 dengue cases have been reported in Sri Lanka so far this year. That came to you right. World News, first the headlines. Gaza doctors say hospital evacuation impossible after Israeli warning. Anti-Israeli mob storms Dagestan airport in Russia. Murder of young woman at elite school horrifies Australia. The Palestinian Red Crescent in Gaza says Israel has told them to evacuate Al-Quds, a key hospital in Gaza City. The organization says there are patients in intensive care units and babies in incubators, and moving them is impossible. Around 14,000 civilians are also understood to be sheltering in the hospitals and its grounds. The hospital area has been hit all day by airstrikes, as Israel reports killing dozens of terrorists in the Gaza area yesterday. Israel has urged Russia to protect all its citizens and all Jews after a large mob, some shouting anti-Semitic slogans, stormed a Dagestan airport. Video footage on social media showed an angry crowd running through the airport, reportedly seeking people arriving from Tel Aviv. Some of the crowd ran onto the runway and surrounded aircraft there. Russia's aviation agency said the situation was under control after authorities had arrived on the scene. On Thursday, as Australia woke up to the news, a body had been found inside the bathroom of an elite Sydney private school. Horror rippled around the country. Police had turned up at St Andrew's Cathedral School just before midnight after a chilling 000 call. There they encountered a confronting scene. 21-year-old water polo coach Lily James dead with extensive head injuries. Detectives believe she was murdered, allegedly with a hammer, hours earlier, according to local media, who had cited anonymous sources. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Gaza doctors say hospital evacuation impossible after Israeli warning. Anti-Israel mob storms Dagestan airport in Russia. Murder of young woman at elite school horrifies Australia. That ends this bulletin of world news.
Development News.
Paliyavatta Dairy Industries has invested 2.6 billion rupees for building Sri Lanka's first export-oriented milk powder processing plant in Kurunegala. Chairman Palavatta Dairy Industries Aryasila Wickramanayake said they already have 3 milk processing plants in Buttala, making Palavatta branded the products. The third factory would come up in Kilinochchi in 2025 and they hope to invest a further 2.5 billion rupees for this. That was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
On to sports news. The Sri Lanka cricket team is poised to record their third win against Afghanistan to qualify for the semi-final of the World Cup in their match in Pune today from 2 p.m. onwards. The most experienced player, Angela Matthews, said this would be a very important game to continue the momentum to go forward. We are not underestimating any team, but we have a good chance, as already we have played more matches against Afghanistan recently and know them very well. However, in this World Cup, the Afghan team has proved their potential to beat top teams, and that was sports news.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Singh Balapitiya says that the government has planned to introduce a new property tax from 2025. Accordingly, the relevant tax will be presented in accordance with the recommendations made by the International Monetary Fund. The new property tax is expected to be levied on individuals who own large amounts of property. That was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news. Additional Commissioner General of the Sri Lanka Customs, Kapila Kumarasinghe, says the revenue from the customs has dropped compared to last year. The expected income was 217 billion rupees, but only 185 billion rupees has been earned so far. The Customs Act will be amended to strengthen the custom regulations in the near future. And finally, we take a look at the weather report.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in most provinces of the island after 2 p.m. Showers or thunder showers will occur in the northern province and in the Puttalam district during the morning hours. Fairly heavy showers of about 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western, Sabaragamu Central, southern and the Uva provinces, and also in the Kurunegala district. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamu Central and Uva provinces during the morning. And to end this afternoon's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The Department of Irrigation issues a minor flood warning for some of the low-lying areas of the Deduru Oya Valley. The government will take measures to amend the electoral system in a neutral manner. State Minister Ranjit Singh Balapitiya says that all views presented by the public regarding the upcoming budget will be fully considered. 2 officers interdicted 100,000 kilograms of paddy go missing from government stores. Turkish Airlines today commenced direct flights between Sri Lanka and Istanbul after 10 years. News from overseas. Gaza doctors say hospital evacuation is impossible after Israeli warning. And in sports news, cricket. Sri Lanka's crucial match against Afghanistan will be played in Pune today. That ends this afternoon's news broadcast. The time reads Exactly 1:30. This is Radio Sri Lanka.